people, it's Oxsn, just hopping on Instagram Live and giving a quick update on some random business. Don't expect anything from me, just chatting. It's weird how I seem to be caught in doing these kind of updates and these talks, and I was talking about this the other day, about feeling kind of stuck or something, so to speak, and I think what I've realised it is basically a hijack via addiction, I think, in a way. But particularly I'm speaking about digital addiction, which is not a virtue, not something I would like to keep up. But it's about basically how there are things in life that can hijack your kind of reward systems and your motivation. And I think addiction is definitely a big one of those. I was just going to speak about digital addiction, but I think weed addiction is another one, or just addictions in general, where, say, the digital world, basically the way I think it is like the human being has a dopamine reward system built into it, and go back to caveman days or whatever, his story, I don't know. Basically, like, we're designed to, like, be motivated to, like, obviously go out and forage, maybe go and hunt, go get food for the tribe, move towards our goals. And normally we'd only have this world, right? There's, like, this dimension to life. There's not a digital dimension on these fucking portals, quite frankly, is what they are. But, like, I think in the modern day, basically, and it's a warning to especially the youth, because digital addiction is not planned. I think it's something that actually gets into you. Like the doom scrolling and the brain rot type stuff. And I think with the New World Order, like, isolating people, and then people also often being in poverty and, like, forms of despair can make them turn towards substances and drugs. Because the phone is a drug, really, to me. Everything's a drug. The actual definition of drug is rather loose, where there's almost nothing. Basically, literally everything is a drug. So you can use drugs and like digital addiction as a vice, potentially, which is how you kind of get assimilated, is like, it's like a coping strategy, a survival strategy or something. My dad was saying it's a choice, and it is a choice, but I think, like, at certain points, like when you're really young, it's not really a choice to get hooked on the phone, because you're not really that conscious, I guess, but you don't want to get excuses either. But yeah, basically, like, I think too much screen time, it can, like, hijack you, where what I'm speaking is, like, so normally, yeah, we'd only have this dimension, which is the real world, so to speak. So you could only traverse and progress in the real world. These days, you can progress in the digital world. And I think if you do a lot of that, it can kind of hijack and fuck up your dopamine reward stuff, because, like, basically you confuse traversing through the real physical world with the traversing through the digital world. And, like, your brain gets confused or something. Where, like, you know, you can have a very productive day in the digital world. You can do all sorts of stuff on the screens, and you can be busy, like, for hours and hours and hours. You put the screen down, and nothing's really changed in the real world. It's like you're actually, like, physically, like, doing labor almost with your fingers, just on the phone, and it's not real. And even my dad would speak about it a lot, about, like, how the screens look like, you know, they're black when they're off. And, like, people just stare into this, like, abyss. Obviously, there seems to be stuff there, but there's even speculation about certain animals or something that they can't see the screens due to their frame rate not being synced up the same as humans. And also look into the blue light neuromodulation by DARPA, DARPA, and research DARPA Danny Jones on YouTube. And basically it's Optogenetics, using your body electric. Don't forget the gas, don't forget the gas, don't forget the gas. Gas and electric. 'Cause they go hand in hand. They know things that we don't understand. Basically, optogenetics is a field of controlling neurons with light through the eyes via oxsns. And basically, apparently, this government agency, which invented the internet, they did do that, that's not apparently, but they're like 20, 40, fucking 60 years ahead in all the most advanced technologies, neural weapons, nanotech, and like all this brand new cutting edge advanced technology revolution that we're living through today. Like, these phones didn't even exist fucking 10, 20 years ago, you know? So this is all advanced, groundbreaking shit, like the fact that this screen is there, I got this screen here which I'm sending this live transmission through on the fucking invisible frequencies or whatever I'm imagining is giving rise to my direct experience right now. You know, does my voice go through the microphone into my digital phone and then get processed by the fucking all of the gadgets and stuff and wires and bits in the phone, and then like it gets sent to your phone through the screen, and now you can hear my voice coming out of your microphone, and then it goes through into your ears and then into your brain, and your brain processes it subconsciously and makes sense of the language, and then you register that on the screen. It's like, there's a big story behind the present moment. How do we know that it's not just present moment with no story behind it? Like, maybe the whole thing's just a dream and you could just imagine anything you wanted at any point. Basically, I didn't mean to stem off, and I won't stem off, but that's how Libet's delay is an illusion. Basically, does the present come from the past, or does the past come from the present? Does distance exist? And is there such thing as time? That's the question you've got to ask. It depends how many psychedelics you've done. But yeah, there's no evidence that my voice is travelling through the microphone. That's just a story that seems to be the case. I might answer your thing in a minute, Love from the Universe. I just want to clear up what I was saying about... I was talking about some other stuff. Oh, about the neural modulation of the blue light. So basically, apparently, DARPA wants and has wanted blue light everywhere for years. And apparently, that is why it is here. So the blue light emitted from my phone, I've heard on a Danny Jones podcast recently that it has intentionally been put here, almost as a form of weapon. Blue light emitted from these screens does various things to your physiology, your circadian rhythm, and also your dopamine reward system. It seems to promote certain things, not whatever the opposite of promote is, diminish other. Basically, blue light is a drug, and from this bird's eye view surveillance kind of perspective of control, if you put yourself in the government's shoes, what I've heard is that blue light is useful almost as a weapon in the context of war, not inherently just to harm, but to program. Like, blue light is a drug, and by putting this drug everywhere, they can effectively socially engineer and program people and alter behavior. And this all comes with my big AI awakening. What I define AI to be often is not just this AI of ChatGPT and these... Oh yeah, I heard about the purple lights. I've seen them on Instagram, yeah. I'm not sure what that is. But basically, I'm talking AI in terms of, could you, if you wanted to, hijack a human with advanced technology? That is a deep question to me. Could you theoretically spray like nanotech in the sky that you breathe in, that like basically, if you had infinite funding, or 2.3 trillion, and you had all the cameras and everything from bird's eye view, could you, if you had a grid of a city and you was the fucking president, big boss, yeah, or government in control with the big red buttons and shit, infinite funding, science, everything, could you basically go balls to the wall with testing the limits of social engineering, social conditioning, or like, I forget what they call it. Sorry, my brain went a bit blank then. Predictive programming. So what are the limits, from an experimental perspective, just to, even for a philosophical investigation, could you hack a human being with advanced technology? Maybe by making it breathe in a little bit of this, making it perceive a little bit of this light, propaganda, cognito hazards, memetic hazards, info hazards. So we've got propaganda and gang stalking, things like this. We've got drugs in the form of light, drugs in the form of, like, microscopic aerosolized particles that you breathe in that are essentially invisible and impossible to detect. So basically a drug, you get spawn camped by drugs, neural weapons, propaganda and gang stalking. Basically, it's forced assimilation for the means of control. The Borg, forced assimilation, where it's the Merck drug delivery system to help you be free. There are purple lights about in some places over sets in bus stops in America. Personally, this is not what I'm manifesting. MDA opened my heart chakra and third eye. Okay. Yeah, I heard about that, and that's super interesting. I'm interested about your MDA experience. Maybe I'll get you on here in a minute. But personally, this is not what I'm manifesting. Okay, interesting. So, but the thing is, am I manifesting it by speaking it in a way? But like, or am I like, or is it a form of gas, like a spiritual gaslight? 'Cause I don't know to what extent things are objectively real, or to what extent I create what is real by feeding it with my attention. Because if they were using it, this is the thing for me, like in terms of all the enlightenment and this, like this is why I kind of took a turn almost and like got very skeptical about a lot of this. A lot of it is because a lot of the spiritual teachers I was listening to, turns out that they are defending the New World Order. And I'm like, how the fuck can I listen to all these, like Leo Guru of Actualized.org, he's talking so much about psychedelics and enlightenment, God consciousness, but then he gets the COVID jab and he defends the modern Western system. That made me very suspicious about all of the spiritual teachers I've been listening to, because I gave Leo a lot of attention and time, only to realise he's full of shit and he's lying, and he's being gang-stalked and infiltrated by the New World Order. Say Sadhguru, I believe, has also been associated with the World Health Organization and the Great Reset, that kind of crowd, and the World Economic Forum. So basically what I'm saying is, like, these people who think that they're reaching high, what if they've never seen a sky, so to speak, in terms of, when you say this is not what I'm manifesting, right? Well, so, say Yogananda or anyone, they think they're proper enlightened, yeah? Anybody, I don't care who it is, Mr. Nature, Love from the Universe, anyone, they're blissed out in enlightenment, right? And they've opened their third eye with, fair play. But like, how, but the thing is, like, this is what I'm getting at, is like, if a government has actually developed remote neural modulation, which is the ability, I'm not sure to an extent what phase the production or development these tools are in, or if they're fully out Pandora's jar unleashed. But basically, it's becoming apparent, if not already, that like you can read data from the brain and write data into the brain in real time, essentially hijacking the mind. Maybe you can do this with a Neuralink chip, but not just that. You can do that with breathing in advanced technology that is sprayed in the air via maybe the chemtrails, advanced technology via the blue light, and how light can activate these microscopic fucking aerosolized particles that you can't see, and light activates them, and then you breathe them in, and they're like literally hijacking you and assimilating you into an AI assimilation motherboard, artificial intelligence motherboard of advanced technology and control via neural weapons and cognitive warfare, where like they have technology that can scan you and know more about you than you know about yourself in a lot of ways. Like as if someone could have a screen and a meter in an office with cameras looking down on a grid of a city from bird's eye view, and they can pull up Love from the Universe or oxsn on their screen, and they can look at your heart rate, they can look at whether your brain is in alpha or delta waves, and then they can add shit to you. Alright, send out an agent now to spray barium and aluminum above this agent, and when he breathes it in, let me know, or maybe my app will let me know. Give him a little bit of blue light, send out a couple gang stalkers, and like, what can I get with 2.3 trillion? You can get unlimited corporate news. What can I get with 2.3 trillion? Any mercenaries you choose. What can I get with 2.3 trillion? Still a couple billion souls. What can I get with 2.3 trillion? Everything under control. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, but like the way that Dr. James Giordano says it, well, to be fair, he says, if we say that the brain is the mind, then this is mind control. But yeah, that's an assumption of a material paradigm a little bit. So I think that is a really core facet, whether or not you believe that the brain is giving rise to the mind. Like, if you hijack the brain, does that mean you can hijack the mind? Maybe if you believe that they're the same thing, but if you're not a materialist, then you don't. How do you know that that your cognition is even in the brain? Just because someone can neural modulate the brain, like maybe that's an illusion that the brain is even the mind, even though when you put stuff in the brain, it does change the mind. So, I don't know. But like, I'm talking, it seems they've researched and developed their contraption extensively. Now they understand just what's happening. They love to know nobody's got the wherewithal to stop them. Joining their brain-computer interface is not an option. Someone needs to put these morons on spot, son. Sending messages to your neurons with oxsn, neuromodulation of the whole population. They got you gang stalking each other now in moderation.